I actually want Miami to play Philly first round. Are we recording? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, I want Philly to play Miami because Miami's like.
They're sixth.
Yeah, because I don't like Philly, so I
first. So out of all these teams, once the two go in there, 7th and 8th.
8 doesn't. No. You don't want to be 7, 8. You want to be top 6.
No, but I'm saying like once this ends the play-in, it'll be 1 to 8, right?
Yeah.
So Philly would get.
They would
get man.
But look how close they are to the second seed, right? They're if they win, I think they have the tiebreaker. The problem is if you're Milwaukee, you only have to face one of Boston or Miami to make it to the finals. And Miami's, if you look at Miami's point differential, they're one of the few teams who has a negative point differential, and they're actually +6 for the win-loss. Go look at their win. What do you call it? Plus minus. I think that.
For who's that? Philly?
For Miami. They've been outscored on the season. They're the 6th seed or the 5th. They've been outscored by 0.4 points per game on the season. Look at every other team who's got a negative point differential.
Out the bottom mostly.
So Miami wins close games and then they get blown out. If you look at all the top contending teams, +4, 5.6, 5.2, 5.5. 2.5 is a little. That's why Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right now is not getting the same respect. No, that's a 5th seed, right? That's New York. Yeah. That's why they're not getting the same respect either because I forgot what the numbers are, but
look at what the West looks like. Everybody's in the.
But look at that 3.9.
Yeah,
look at this 3.9. 3. Look at that in the East though. 3.9 get you like 4th.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 5th.
These guys are 5th sitting here. 2nd right now. 5.
Yeah, because they had a really good start, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think I forgot where the numbers are, but. If you look at the past 20 champions, the plus minus that they beat teams by was you have to be 3 or 4 or something like that along those lines to at least that was the minimum. So I doubt. But the thing with Miami is though they're like a fucking zombie, man. Yeah. They're just below 500, then they creep up to 500.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're 8 games above 500, and they're on
but that's as far.
And then
as
they're ripping it up. They want to be playing well at the end of the season. They got great coaching.
Yeah.
They got Jimmy Butler is just a dog, man. That guy's just a badass. He doesn't give a shit who he's playing. He thinks he's the best player.
He's the dog. Okay,
he could be on the same court as Michael Jordan, and he believes he's the better player.
Yeah.
That's how much confidence this guy has in himself.
And from the background he's came from, man, he has a pretty fucking dark.
That's what I'm saying, though. He's if they had made the movie, they have the Blind Side. This guy's got his own version of it
even
too.
How
right?
they had Michael Jordan's that documentary on him.
Which one?
The whole Bulls one, even though it was basically Michael Jordan and how his background was compared to fuck man, Jimmy Butler
went through a lot. His was worse.
Worse. This guy lost his parents, kicked out of his house first at a young age because he looked ugly. That's what his mom actually said to him. So you're an ugly looking kid, and they probably had a huge fight. There's probably obviously other reasons, but that was one of the things I guess he remembered. He's
a damn good ball player.
Hell yeah, that kind of.
You know what the fucked up thing about Jimmy Butler is right now? I was listening to a podcast on my way here. He could potentially make an all NBA team and be eligible for a max, but he didn't make the All-Star team. So that just shows you how much of a joke the All-Star is.
Crazy that
could you imagine making
made All-Star.
Huh?
That's crazy. He hasn't even made an All-Star.
He made a couple years. He's made a bunch over the years, but the thing with him is he doesn't really
Pandemic year, was there All-Star year though?
Yeah, they did that weird. Not the pandemic year. The year after, they did the weird one where they all came together in the bubble. No, Jimmy Butler was an All-Star last year.
He was, okay.
He's been an All-Star with with what do you call it, Chicago too. He's been. But the thing is, if you make a certain amount of, if you make All NBA, you're eligible for an extra 30. John Morant, if he makes All NBA, his contract goes from $200 million to $250.
Fuck.
Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics, if he makes one of the All NBA teams somehow or an all right, he goes from there's no way in hell that Boston can re-sign this guy on his current deal anyways because he's gonna end up making way too much money.
Yeah,
and he's already given hints that he might not stay with them either because next year he has 1 year left in his contract.
That makes sense.
And then he's worth if you're looking at all the other guys, he's worth $40-50 million a year. You're going to be paying Tatum like another $50 million.
And he's always battling Tatum. It's like him and Tatum obviously trying to, like, to get into how you're saying that all-star kind of...
He doesn't need to battle with Tatum, though. That's the thing, though, is that you need... They have the best... Like, they have the best two guys. Two guys can easily make the thing. Especially because they're both ball dominant, right? Yeah. So only the top 15 players potentially get it. Yeah. So...
And you're hoping to be there.
Next week, just pause this for a sec.
Yeah.
Or we can edit it out. But we should talk about all NBA guys.
Yeah.
So guys who are eligible for the extra bonuses and shit. And I'll do some extra research on that.
Yeah, true.
We could even wait until
get numbers and stuff too, because I think that matters too. Some guys don't ever know those things. And then they hear it, they're like, you fucking serious? Like, that's what this shit... Well, like, I was talking to Hassan in her beer today.
Basically the rule goes back to... It's called the Derrick Rose contract, or the rule. So... The reason when he was I believe he was in his third year in the league, and he won MVP, I think, as a 21-year-old, and he was turning 22 that year. So when he signed his original extension, he hadn't become an MVP just yet. So they had made the rule that if you become eligible for either NBA, like if you win one of the major awards, like say you win Defensive Player or you win MVP, obviously, or you make one of the All-NBA teams, right? Depending on the contracts, they end up getting, it's called the All-NBA Max, so you become this max player. And the max, so you could, like I was saying for Ja, for example, he signed an extension last year, I think it was 5 years, $200 million. Like, I'm sorry on the numbers, I'm a little off, but he got $200 million. Now, if he makes All-NBA team this year, it doesn't matter if it's a third, second, or one, he gets the All-NBA contract now, so he goes from making 2 years... He doesn't have to renegotiate anything. It's in the fucking contracts, because any player who signs an NBA Max contract, it's a 5-year contract. You only give those to the elite players because only one contract can be on those. What do you call it?
On your entire team?
Yeah. So you can't have two guys with 5-year All NBA Maxes on your team. It's crazy the way they made this rule. But anyways. Ja could end up making $50 million. Tatum lost out on a bunch of money like a couple years ago or something because he didn't make one of the All-NBA teams too. So, and the fucked up thing is the media votes on it, right? Yeah. So if you're like, let's say for example, I don't know, who the fuck's watching? I'm just saying Portland for example. No, Portland's a bad one actually. Let's go Utah.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how many people are paying attention to Utah, even though Utah's been doing really well.
Yeah, I think that's the only time they were when they turned it around.
But if you think about it, there's guys on Utah that are eligible possibly for an NBA Max, and they have no idea because they're not watching them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's fucked up that the media can decide potentially, and the fucked up thing is, let's go back to Jaylen Brown. If he ends up getting all of it, because so basically the other rule, I'll go back to this, is if you sign a contract with a 4-year deal, if you want to renegotiate a year early, right, extension, you can only make 120% of what you're making before.
Yeah.
So let's say you made $20 million. You can only give someone 120% of that. So I forgot whatever that number comes out to is all that and I think if I'm 120, so I think that turns into like 25 mil.
Yeah.
Right? So Jaylen Brown signed a 4-year, like $80 million deal. It was a fucking steal of a deal. But now, because he's gotten his awards and he's potentially all NBA, instead of, you can't just be like, we'll give you 4 years and 50 mil.
Yeah.
He can only get 120%, which is 24, 25 mil. The only way they can give him this bigger contract is if he actually makes it to free agency.
Yeah.
But then if he makes it to free agency, anybody has the ability to negotiate with him. And so that's why that's fucked up. The media decides if he's one or the other, and it possibly makes it harder for Boston and the other teams, but it makes it easier for other teams to get him now, right?
That's crazy right now. Like some of the contracts guys are going to be wanting. Some of the contracts we've seen guys lose out, like Schroeder, Victor Oladipo fucked up. Like a couple of these guys that just on the opposite side of that. We're talking about guys that are like looking for max contracts, all-star NBA. And then we got guys that are just like looking for their next big contract, but they fumbled the bag.
They believed in themselves.
They believed in themselves too much, and like they hit that free agency part, and then you're right. Anybody can kind of.
I'm really glad the Lakers. I'm really glad Schroeder said no, because imagine like he's not worthy. Obviously, like he fucked up. Lakers are dumb at, like, Pelinka's a fucking idiot, but he's finally redeemed himself after 2 years of fucking doing God knows what.
Yeah.
Right? Like the thing that pisses me off the most about that is, like, they had the formula.
Yeah.
They had one bad year with injuries. Yeah. And they panicked. Like, just, like, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with Rob. Like, maybe he started watching, I don't know what he was on. Who knows? Like, someone had blackmail on him.
That other guy, Magic Johnson, remember that whole little thing happened with him too? And him leaving because I think he was...
He was on a live fucking press conference and he's like, I'm leaving in the middle of a fucking press conference.
And it's like I think, was on the side of how you're saying, like, the guy that was kind of thinking the thought process of who to bring in, that you guys shouldn't maybe take this team apart and stuff. And then once you get to that roadblock of Rob, probably like, no, I'm going to do it. Now you're kind of stuck. You're just arguing, fighting, and he ended up leaving at a weird time that he leaves. Live TV lets everybody know, and you're like, one of the most beloved Lakers to ever play the game.
Still doing well, so
yeah, still doing well, and he still showed respect.
Well, he's on the he's part owner of the Dodgers. He's in on the Commanders deal with the
Dodgers. He's on the LA's Galaxy, the soccer team. He's on their WNBA team. Yeah. And now he wants to jump into the Washington Commanders.
He's already with the guy who owns the Philly is the guy that's got...
And that younger dude, right? That's always hanging out with Meek Mill?
Josh Harris guy, yeah. They bought it from... I forgot who they bought it off somebody a few years ago. And then they're also... I think they own the Devils as well.
There was a hockey team in
there. They own the Devils because they have something in New Jersey, and like they own the Devils. They have that. They've got their hockey, basketball. They want to get the football.
Yeah,
football's a big one though, right?
Huge,
football's the one they want to get into.
Over. I think it's going to be over $5 billion.
No, I think it's over $6.
I think it is too. I just heard the number was like 5.45.
No, 5.6 is what they were evaluated at. Yeah. But what your evaluation is at is you're obviously going to go much like I forgot. I think Broncos went for like 4.6. But their evaluation was below 4. But the thing is, there's only 32 NFL teams in the world, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna overplay because these rich ass owners, like, they've got the money, they've got all this shit. What don't they have? That's what they want. Yeah. Dude, if you're an NFL team owner, you got name recognition no matter what. Like, the ability to have your own team like that is something that these billionaires want to get so bad, right?
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to set up your families for a long time.
And look at the fucking guys who bought like the Warriors and shit like that. They bought it for like $500 million or something like that, 450, and then they won all the trophies and shit. And now that team is worth like...
Those are always banners are going to be hanging in that fucking arena. So that's part of the money that you have to pay up to get.
They're one of the most recognizable teams. Like with Steph Curry's one of the most recognizable faces. Draymond, you hate him, you love him. Either no matter what, he brings in viewers too.
One of the best defensive
plays. One of the team, they're gonna be one of those teams that are gonna have a 30 for 30 on them one day.
He's got a fucking market in Asia. The guy loves going to China.
Who, Clay?
Yeah, they love him.
Huge.
So he's got a whole Golden State following just from him going out there and playing in China all the time and the deals he has for his shoes.
Dude, the Chinese people, the reason that fucking Andrew Wiggins was an all-star 2 years in a row. They had so many votes from there.
Yeah, straight up.
So
it's going to be good. You're talking about Brooklyn. You could see now them kind of free-falling a tiny bit.
Bro, no, they've been free-falling. I was reading it. They're 12-21 since Durant went down with his injury, and they're 7-14 since Durant and Kyrie Irving got traded. So what? 9 games below 500, essentially, and they're still 5. So they were 14 games above 500 at one point. Goodness. They were up there with the Clevelands and the Phillies and all that.
I think they got up to 3rd, 4th in between somewhere
and then
there.
Every time Durant got hurt, Kyrie's something goes off in that guy too.
And I think he knew it too, though. Are you going to stay on a team where KD's, I think, a number one, obviously. Your main guy is always injured. You're having to play on the team and try to, take him as far as you can. There's barely any other talent around him. So I think him leaving, I think KD, obviously, again, talent. He said it live too. That was the most fucked up thing. That he said, "Yo, how are we supposed to win games with what we got?" Like that's a fucked up thing to first of all say about your team, and then continue playing for that team still while he was on Brooklyn. But it is the truth what he said. But it's a weird thing to say if you're a teammate. Like imagine me and your teammate. I'm not gonna throw you under the bus because you're maybe looking for a fat contract too. I don't want people thinking that this guy has the inside on this guy just because they played together and practiced together.
Well, the thing with Durant is he gets injured like every year now, and then he comes back and he's still Durant. But the thing is, you only get like skinny doesn't matter. I think as much. He's just had those. He's been injury prone ever since his Achilles. Always leg injuries, hamstrings, knees. He hurt the same knee like 3 times. But the fucked up thing is he misses 20 games, comes back, and he goes back to averaging like 30 points a game.
He goes ham.
But like, other guys that take a while to know. This guy, when he comes, he's out for longer, but when he comes back, he's still one of the best. But the problem is he's only good for like 30, 40, maybe 50 games a year. Yep. Right? So I don't even know what his numbers are this year, but it's terrible.
Not much, probably just because of how much time he's already had to miss.
So I was looking at they were talking about the West standings today. So I think Oklahoma City and the Lakers play today. But could you imagine if the 9th versus 10th is somehow like, Dallas versus Lakers? Right. They were joking that...
We still playing each other still. One more game.
Yeah, Lakers got a bunch of games. Let's see. We
definitely got one more against Dallas. We got 2 against Utah. OKC today. So that's already going to be scheduled right there, yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the last 2 games because of Austin Reeves.
Why did they start here?
They always start at the bottom for some weird reason. You'd think they would break it down.
Yeah, like usually just slides right down to the most recent.
Yeah, I want to look at October. Like, fuck that. So look at the next. Oh shit. So let's this is their last few games of the season. They played on. Okay, so they play today, play Sunday. Then they don't play till Wednesday, Friday. They have a back-to-back. No, they don't have a back-to-back again. They got one on the 4th and who knows what'll happen by then.
Probably might play Utah and rest Clippers, man. You don't even need nobody against them.
But the thing is, they're going to, dude. They're in like a fucking... Who knows what's going to happen?
But back-to-back, you definitely want to beat Utah's ass.
Why not Lakers? I mean, if Clippers...
Clippers, they're already well ahead of us right now.
They're only like 2-3 games up.
But I would rather lose to them than Utah because Utah's...
But you don't know how the next 6 games are going to go, right? That's the thing. Is who knows?
Those 2 games are huge against Chicago because look at Chicago. They're fighting for a play-in too.
I still can't believe they're somehow in a fucking play-in.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
These guys were in it for a while, and then they got their ass booted out of the play in Chicago, and then they kind of like randomly put together a couple of wins, a couple of lucky ass wins too.
Honestly, I thought they were... Damn. Okay.
We got Minnesota, Houston, Utah, Clippers, Phoenix again, which that could be, I don't know what's going to happen by the end if Phoenix is already set to whichever they're going to be.
Yeah, and then they got a big one against Utah to end the season, again. Right? So
it's going to be a crazy
The good thing is the Friday, Sunday, they're at home. Like they have
a 12:30 game. That's actually a good time for that game.
But they play on their home. So they're home and home. They're fine. But look, they have a 5-game road trip in there. No, 6. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4, really.
They play 5.
One's at home.
No.
Clippers one. They get lucky on that.
Yeah.
So it's basically 3 home games.
And that's on their back-to-back. So whatever. They end up... So I could see them resting 80 in one of those games, but it also depends on what their standings are. I don't think they can really afford to...
For sure.
I mean, it'd be nice if like LeBron came back for one of those games and then they rested 80 for the other one. So at least have one of those guys still. But yeah, they got a big game today. They got 2 against... Who knows, like... Fuck, these guys have been trying to get to 500 all year too, so we'll see how they end up.
It's going to be a crazy little...
It's going to be a finish, man. It's fucked up. I was watching the standings the other day. I forgot which year it was. This was a few years ago, but the 8th seed... Shit, it was one of the... So the 8th seed, like, X amount of years ago, I forgot what year it was. The 8th seed in the West was 50-32.
Yeah.
Could you imagine 8th seed being the 50 wins?
50 wins.
50 wins. And 8 seed with 50, Lakers were first at 57. So all 8 teams were between 50 and 57 wins. That was the years when the East would be like 42 and like 40, and you'd be like the 5th seed.
50. Like, look at the numbers right now.
That's what I'm saying is
close to that.
They were, so the highest 57 and 25 were the Lakers, and then 50 and 32 were the Denver Nuggets. And every other team had 50 plus wins. it was just, and I think the ninth or 10th seed had like 47 wins or something ridiculous.
That's
like
a crazy way to not make playoffs.
That would be fucked
wins.
up, man. Imagine being like 47 and 35, and then in the East, there's like the same record gets you like a 3-4 seed, man. It's ridiculous.
It's going to be a good playoffs, though. I like the play-in matchups that might actually end up having like Atlanta fighting there, Toronto fighting. Those are two teams I'd watch. Whoever makes play-in, watch out for those two teams.
The big thing now is look who gets the 8th seed between because you're playing a Brooklyn team that's free falling.
Yep.
Right, and then
that's who you want to play.
Yeah, that's who you want to play, right? And then the other thing is you only have to win one game if you're playing the 8s and 7, right?
Because right now it'd be 7 and
8 and 9 and 10 play. The winner of 9 plays the loser of the 7-8 game.
Okay.
So if you are in the 7th or 8th seed, you only have to play one game to advance.
Yeah.
If you're a 9th or a 10th seed, you need to win twice.
True.
Right?
Yeah, that matters. I don't think a lot of people
huge.
understand that part because look at Lakers being 9, they'd have to end up playing one of these.
But they'd have to win the first game and then they'd have to play a second game. The other fucked up thing is now you're playing 2 playoff extra games before the season starts. So 82 games potentially, 2 more games, and then you're playing. I mean, the thing is, the West from top to bottom, I'm going to say Denver's got enough to win. Memphis, Sacramento, but, Sacramento has no playoff experience.
None right now. We don't
Who
know
knows? Memphis has got the players, but they lost Brendan Clark.
Yeah.
Steven Adams has been hurt. Ja Morant is catching bodies on and off the court. So, right? I know he's gotten better with his counseling or whatever he's doing, but and Dylan Brooks is a fucking menace to society in there, right? The team's dangerous, but you just don't know which way they're going to go and what they're going to do.
I don't think Dylan Brooks can get any more texts.
Neither can Draymond either. Both of them are on the same boat.
Both of them, yeah. So
but it resets in the playoffs, though.
Oh, it does? So how many is it in the playoffs?
Shit. Because this one, I think NBA, you get 16 texts. I forgot the number for the playoffs, but it resets.
Because I know he's at 18 was the last one because he's gotten 2 games suspension now.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you end up playing in the playoffs and you reach the technical limit, you miss playoff games too.
Remember happened to Draymond?
Yeah, that was the year. That was the one where they're obviously the league wanted LeBron and them to win though. I saw that call. But the thing is, you're not going to get the call when you're Draymond versus LeBron.
But he still shouldn't have touched LeBron.
No, that's what I'm saying is,
he went and did the punch to LeBron's dick for no reason.
It wasn't a punch though.
No, but he went over the motion.
He went over and he stood kind of over top of him. That's when he got the technical.
But then he put his hand out and it touched LeBron's dick area, and you could tell he put his hand out. He should have just got up and bumped him. He put the hand out, it hit LeBron in the dick. Now that's kind of a punch.
Yeah, that pretty much saved LeBron's legacy, right? Because that was the one that got him the third. That was his 3rd title. Cleveland first, and it was probably one of the most talked about, controversial game, series of all time. I would say that was that wasn't when they lost. Was that the 73-9 team that lost? That was, wasn't it? Yeah. That was right. And then they got KD the next year and shit kicked the league for the next 2 years. Absolutely fucking dominated. Mm-hmm. Before KD.
That was a scary team. Remember the Death Squad or what were they called?
That's called the Death Lineup.
The Death Lineup.
Because they had
a fucking destruction, man. Iguodala and those 4. Right?
They called them the Death Lineup, or they called them the Hampton 5.
Yeah, I remember Death something.
No, they called it 2 versions. They had the Death Lineup was 1.
Yeah.
And then that was because you're finishing 5 is Draymond, KD, a prime Clay. Curry's still prime.
He's prime.
He's still prime, right? So Curry, and then they had an Andre Iguodala who actually played.
Yeah.
And then your smallest guy is Curry at 6'3", 6'4", but 6'7" Clay, 6'10" Durant, somewhere in there. Fucking Iguodala was 6'7". Remember, he got MVP. He shut down LeBron's ass that year too, right? So
I got that block that usually LeBron does.
Yeah, but then LeBron got his block back on Iguodala a year later, right? So it all worked out. he got that block. That's fucked up. The biggest play of LeBron's career was a block.
That block, and the pass to Kyrie on the 3. Man.
No, that's a Kyrie moment.
That was a Kyrie moment.
But I'm saying when you think of purely LeBron, and you think of you know how some guy has the shot.
Yeah.
When I think of Steph Curry, I remember it was me and you at your old house, and it was in overtime. against Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And then he's just, I'm like, dude, they're giving him too much space. They're giving him too much space. And then he just pulls up, bang, bang. Fuck, he got the double bang for Mike Breen, man.
Dude,
those
that
things
was
are
a
rare.
bad play, and everybody saw it coming. They're like, why aren't you guys stepping up on him or double team him so that one guy's deep, one guy's down the 3-point line?
Did you see the bench?
Yeah.
The whole bench is like, oh no.
Fuck.
That was crazy. But fuck, playoff-wise, let's go to some hot spots here for players. And teams. So I guess we'll start NFL. The two teams. We'll just start off with...
I guess we'll start off with both of them. They're both intertwined.
And
so.
yeah, very intertwined. Actually, before we start off, I was reading their old defensive and...
Who's...
Broncos.
The wolf guy with the mushrooms.
You sent me it, right?
Yeah, the mushrooms.
Yeah, you just sent me that. That's
microdosing. He was but you know what? Though?
Microdosing.
But there's a lot. Remember, fucking Marshawn Lynch was taking Hennessy shots before the game.
There's actually a lot of guys that have actually talked about
there's
using
some
shrooms and stuff.
Shrooms,
Adderall
weed,
too.
so much.
Because you're
shit.
super focused.
Like I can see putting the microdosing on shrooms because I've tried it before too. It like mellows you out your body, so you're not feeling as much at that moment while getting hit and whatnot. And then you're taking Adderall on top, which I've taken Dexedrine, which does the same thing. You're focused,
But that's fucked up.
laser focus, and you got like your body mentally kind of just in like a nice little limbo while you're playing.
I don't know, man. I love it's not like, I'm not
awesome.
hating on the guy. It's
I
always
like it.
interesting to find out like what these guys do as their pregame routines and
Yeah.
shit, right? Like, because some guys, obviously, this guy's microdosing. It's not like.
What
But they
was his
always
name?
Derek Wolf.
Derek Wolf. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think there was the year. I think they helped. I think he won a title with Broncos that year too when he was like
I think
actually
so. He's
good.
been there for a minute now.
Yeah, he was really good. And then he's just had injuries, right?
Yeah.
He just fell off a lot of these guys.
That's the
So,
fucking NFL, man.
do you want to start with the Broncos or do you want to start with the Seahawks?
Yeah, we could start Broncos and what's up with what they've done right now.
Do you know what they've been doing though?
No.
Do you know what why they're picking up? Do you know? So they're basically. So Sean Payton, I was reading the article. I forgot who was saying it, but I think it was on Athletic, if I'm not mistaken, or The Ringer, one of the two. Essentially, how do I position? So Sean Payton knows what kind of player. Like he's really good at evaluating his team and say, we need these guys because this is the player we're going to do.
Yep.
So when he was with New Orleans, right, and Drew Brees in his later careers, he couldn't throw as deep.
Yep.
They became a very good power run team with Kamara and I forgot the other guy's name. Ingram, and then they had Latavius Murray in there for a little bit.
They brought him
They
in.
could rotate guys, right? So, and Kamara was perfect as the receiver out of the backfield, right? So, short passes, some play action, and you power run the football. All the guys that they've signed this year, the Broncos, the guards are both run blocking guards. The tight end's a run blocking tight end. They got defensive tackles, which is fine. So essentially, they're going to go back to the offense that he ran with Drew Brees, where they have a power run team, first of all.
Yeah.
They're going to run the ball. But the thing with power formations is that you tighten the line of scrimmage, so you open up more space down the rest of the field. But you need to run the ball. You need to have blockers. And of course, if you look at Russell Wilson when he did his best, is he play action?
Yeah.
He can move. The thing that Breeze wasn't is that Breeze couldn't move like Wilson can even now.
That's true.
But Breeze is much better at like 1, 2, 3, boom. The ball's out. He's not like sitting there trying to make up with the ball, trying to like.
He gets it out of his hand.
He gets it out and the ball, and then you know what? You get a 6, 7 yard play. Now it's a 2nd and 3.
Yeah.
You got to respect the run. If you run play action, so each play you do adds to the next play and everything connects together, right? So. That is essentially what they're doing with their offense this year. Because if you look at the guys they've Ben Powers and a couple, they're all run first type players.
Yeah.
And if you think about, obviously at this point in his career, and we saw what happened last year, letting Russell cook is going to get you food poisoning.
Yeah.
Like diarrhea, everything, right? It was so, for Russell, he's got to play within a system where he has some like, and Sean Payton's the dude, guy. Like, you got to listen to Sean Payton, right?
yeah.
And Sean Payton obviously listens to his players and shit too, right? He's been a successful coach for a reason, but
He knows how to get
but at the same
relationship.
time, like Russell needs a bit of a strict personality with him, right? So, and I think that's great for. Oh damn, that was ugly. So that's great for them to be able to do that. Now, is it going to work? We'll see, because anytime you're making big signings in free agency, those are hit or miss. Yeah. More often than not, you get more hits than misses, but you're still paying a lot. You're paying on 13 mil, 7 mil. You're doing all this other kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens with Denver this year. But because I don't know, Raiders are kind of, who knows what the fuck Josh McDaniels is doing.
Yeah, these guys are all conniving in the
Denver, I mean, San Diego's a wild card. Like, they have more talent, but they always end up finishing like 9-8, 10-7.
And what's going to happen with the running back?
Eckler? I wouldn't pay him. I wouldn't pay him. I would trade him.
He wants it.
How often do you pay a running back and it works out well for your team? They got him great the first time on a sick-ass deal, right? But he was also undrafted, so he was, and again, he's undrafted. You can find running backs every year.
Or let him go and him get paid. But he deserves to get paid.
He deserves to get paid.
But he should go with the team that
Exactly. He deserves to get paid somewhere else for a team that is wanting to pay for him. Because these guys got to sign Justin Herbert after next year too. Yeah. Right? So his contract's going to start going up. You're going to have to start thinking about how much money you set. Because he's worth at least like 40 mil on the low end. Yeah, because all the elite quarterbacks are getting at least 40 right now, anyways,
easily,
right?
Especially the way he
plays. And if you're looking at guys like say Murray and them, they all hit 40-ish. Dak hit 40. I think next year, Dak's eligible for a new deal after next year too. So those guys, and then we'll see what happens, man. Quarterbacks get paid. So and then I mean even the Seahawks, they paid what do you call it? What's his face? Gino. But the deal they did was originally reported as a 3-year deal. It's a 1-year deal. Yeah. It's 1-year deal. He plays well. They're going to go to the next year. He doesn't play well, you're gone. Yeah. Right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Because they're in the spot to potentially get a quarterback.
If they brought all three. They brought
I think it's too obvious, though. It's too obvious. Yeah. They did it on purpose.
They haven't put a single picture up of any other position.
Exactly. You know,
only QB.
So the reason I think, because anytime I've heard of most of the time if you want someone you want to draft and you don't want to let the league know, you're going to do like some sneaky visits, right? You're not going to announce the guy on his fucking Instagram.
And all coaches, all management in the background.
It's too obvious.
It's so fucking
right? So when I was talking about that, number 1 and 2 are going to be quarterbacks, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I think what Seattle's doing is they want to pressure teams to move up ahead. Yeah,
get the
because Indiana is interested in a quarterback, or Indianapolis, sorry. What is it? Cardinals don't need one. They got Murray, right? And they just signed him to a deal. They can't get out of it now. And the top 2 defensive players are, one's a linebacker and one's a defensive end. Yeah. And obviously Seahawks need a pass rush. They had one of the worst pass rushes, if not the defense. Hell yeah. Even if you take out this year, the last 5-year average has been bottom 5.
Yeah, we need a guy that can
you need a guy that you have to fucking double team and plan around, right? Yeah. You need a Watt or your Garrett or
Aaron
somebody
Donald
like that, right?
I want, man. Fuck. What a young Aaron Donald.
But I'm saying Aaron Donald was 10th, 11th pick too, right? So, but at the same time, you need a guy that teams have to be like, fuck, this guy can ruin a game for us. We need a game plan around him. Yep. Right now, they don't have a single player that you could, Jamal Adams, I'm not even going to count him. Yep. He's had 2 years where he hasn't played. If they get anything out of him this year, it's a bonus.
It is.
Right?
Anything. One game is a bonus.
One game is right. So
right now, everybody's already forgotten about him as a player right now. Playing for the Seahawks, yeah, we know we have him, but nobody's expecting him.
You know how bad of a deal that was for them too to give up those guys.
But they gave up a lot.
But every now the Russell deal happened. No one talks about that deal because they got all the picks back, right?
It overshadows that one for sure.
But the fucked up thing is that deal led to them trading Russ because they couldn't build around him and et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see what happens. Seahawks they're making good plays, but everything's going to come down to how is Gino going to do? Because now they got, if you look at Gino in the first half last year, he was worth the money.
Yeah, he was.
But if you put him in the second half, though, his team started to figure him out. He had a couple little nicks and bruises. He had a little ankle sprain, right? So we'll see. And he's only honestly had one good year when you think about his overall career, right?
Yeah.
So
one good year right now.
But then again, that might be enough for Seahawks to potentially, because the NFC West the whole NFC is first of all not that good. Yeah. Right? There's only, if you want to say potential playoff teams right now, probably Dallas. Yep. Philly, I would say, even with the guys they've lost. And
what else is there?
Somebody's got to win the NFC.
Dallas, Philly.
I mean, somebody's got to win the NFC.
San Fran's kind of always in there for at least playoffs.
San Fran's good. They'll figure out a way.
Yeah, they'll get to the playoffs. That's where their issue might be, but they'll climb into the playoffs. They have good enough coaching.
They have enough. They have the talent. They can run the ball 40 times a game. He's done it. Yeah. Right? So
That's about it, really. If you look at the
well,
top
you have
guys.
the 3 divisions, so they each got 1 division winner.
Yeah.
4 divisions has 1 division, and then the NFC East probably has. Well, last year 3 of them made it.
Yeah.
The Giants, them, and the other ones,
Yeah.
right? So, and we'll see what happens with the Giants and all these teams too. But overall, if you have a good quarterback, decent, like if you're in the AFC though, it's a bloodbath. Like he'd be like the
AFC
10th best, right? So. If you're
especially if Rodgers ends up over there, man.
But Rodgers isn't Rodgers anymore.
He's not.
I don't believe that. Even like he's at a point in his career where he may not be an MVP.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's as bad as he was last year. But the question is where it's at in between.
Yeah.
What are you closer to the MVP side, or are you closer to what you did last year?
We'll find out this year.
We'll find out this year too, right?
Definitely sum up his.
But then again, who knows? Green Bay's got Jordan Love, and last time these guys moved on from a franchise quarterback. After quarterback, he'd been waiting 3 years. They got a title, and 15 years later, it's happening again, right? So,
me and Hervey were actually talking about that today. Like all the quarterbacks that come from being drafted to having to like be thrust into the role of a starting QB, and how bad most of them do because you're coming from college and not under a veteran. Whereas you see some guys like Wilson, Rodgers, Mahomes, all these guys got a little bit of time to sit behind somebody, look at it, and then come into it.
Wilson never got it.
Yeah, he had.
He won it in training camp. He beat Flynn out. He started from game 1.
Oh, did he? His first year in?
He was also a 5th year.
I thought he played.
He also played 5 years in college, and he started from game 1 that year. So, but the thing is, he also had lots of game. He had 5 years of college.
Yeah.
But the point is still valid, though, is that the thing, like, the best way to have a young quarterback do well is you have to have the foresight to build a team around him.
Yeah.
And then when the quarterback's the right quarterback, you go out and you get him. And then he's like, when he's coming into the league or whatever, he's got a running game. He's got somewhat of a when you throw a guy who's barely played, say in college, and now he's starting for you as an NFL, and you have no run game, you can't fucking like block for the guy. Yeah. Your defense gives up 30 points a game. How do you expect a rookie to be successful? Yeah. Like, there's professional quarterbacks who've been in the league for years who can't have success like that. But the question is, where do you figure that out? Because the only way you're really, most cases, you've got the odd exceptions, but most times if you're getting a franchise quarterback, especially the last few years, because everybody just wants them now, you're only going to get them in the top, 5 to 10 picks. Yeah. Right? Like, who knows? Justin Fields, who knows what's going to happen with him? He's a great running back as a quarterback, but now he's got DJ Moore, can he take the next step? He's got offensive line they're building around him. They finally got him a fucking receiver.
That was like Josh Allen. Remember when he first came in?
He was garbage.
He had nothing built around him at all.
He was nothing. He was
and
so
then they
raw.
Brought everything to wrap around him. Brennan Diggs, guys that he need a WR1.
Everyone, look at even a guy like look at this year, Jalen Hurts. Yeah. He was good. Yeah, straight up. And then as soon as you bring in the number one, right? Right, that you bring in that number one, and all of a sudden now you've got a receiver you have to plan around, right? Yeah. Even before that, who else did that? Even with Joe Burrow and them, right? Mm-hmm. They had Chase Boyd, Boyd and Chase, but they had Boyd and Higgins, but they needed number one, and Chase is that number one for them, right?
It's a game changer doing that, setting up your QB to have an outlet. Like, look at Justin Fields playing. Like, he was stuck having to do so much of that running because they didn't have the best.
They can't throw. He hadn't developed as a. No. But if you're a young quarterback, you need to be able to have pass catchers around you that can make you better.
Yeah.
And then as that quarterback plays more years and gets better, now the team can bring in receivers that aren't not in pure number one, but because the quarterback's so good, they can make it work. Yeah. Look at Mahomes. Yes, he's got Kelsey. Yeah. Right? He's got Kelsey, but Kelsey's like 32. Yeah. And look at the receivers around him. None of them were considered elite receivers. Yeah. Oh, it's a nasty dunk.
Yeah, especially after Tyreek leaves. You have really no number one, really. Yeah. It's just a bunch of number twos and threes that you're fucking passing to and fours. And now you also lost McColl's gone, right?
Hardman's gone, but
he's whatever. But that was one of his receivers that's gone now. So they'll probably look to fill that void with somebody good.
Well, that's what OBJ and them are out in the market, right? Because no one signed OBJ yet either.
Because what was his tweet? He wants more than
4, but they were saying that people were saying that he was. he was asking for 20, and he's like, I wasn't asking for 20, but I'm asking for more than 4. Yeah. Somebody's like, why is he even asking for 4 in the first place?
Like 4 is low as fuck. Like
it is, but it also isn't. I mean, he's
for him.
How many games a year are you expecting? He's 30, right? He's 30.
He's
now?
Up there now. He's got
30. He's a 30-year-old receiver who's coming off a torn ACL, and he's not like a guy who's able to blend into the background either, right? He always wants to be like
his heart's on his sleeve,
right? So good or bad. But the thing is, now in his career, I think the max that he's gonna be a great number 2.
Yeah.
If he's in the right team, ideally for him, he's a number 3 receiver. And he moves up into the 2 spot depending on injuries.
There's less pressure on him too. Then.
He just needs to go out and play, man. He needs a team. Like I think he'd be great in Kansas City.
Yeah.
He'd be a good, but the only thing is, like, I don't know how much speed he has, right? Because Kelsey plays the slot a bit more.
Yeah.
But they need guys with speed who can take advantage of Mahomes' arm.
That's what they saw on his day that he did that little pro day. That he just people he wasn't. It seemed like he wasn't running up full speed. Obviously, there's something still hindering him.
It's only been a year. It's been like 14 months now. But he fucked up his ACL good. But he's also 30 now, right?
Yeah.
That's his second time he's gotten a torn ACL off of that too. So I can easily see something like that happening again, where he gets injured, but he's had other injuries too, right? Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
It's gonna be crazy. I think DK Metcalf actually just got a drug test sent to him.
After doing something, right?
Yeah, he did. He was catching for one of his companies that he does sponsorships for, or that's one of his sponsors, and he did a catch. He's like, "Yo, lob one up, like throw it really high." The guy throws it, dude, ridiculously high. This guy somehow standing jump to it, not even running. While standing jump goes in the air, comes down. Everybody that's standing there watching is like in awe, obviously. Like even they probably in their head are like, "Yo, this guy should get tested because it's something up with what he's doing."
They have the word. They have such a fucking terrible situation. Like, what's the word? The guys do well, and all of a sudden it's a random drug test. Everyone's like, no, it's not. There was a field goal kicker. Remember? I forgot which team he played for. I want to say Indianapolis, but I don't think I have the right guy. But anyways, he makes a fucking sick ass tackle on special teams, right? Punter or a kicker? I'm pretty sure it was the punter. Sick ass kick. Guy returns it. Like Sean Taylor in his prime. Random drug test the next day. That's fucking jacked.
I think Tyreek Hill might be getting a random test because I was looking at some of his posts right now.
Yeah.
This guy's thigh is the size of his waist.
Damn.
He trains, I follow this guy, Receiver Factory. So he's just a guy that works with receivers.
Okay.
So his slogan is, with me, you won't get more power, you won't get more speed, but you will get open. So that's his slogan there. Like, he's like, I'm not going to be able to get you strong. No, I won't get you stronger. I won't get you faster, but I'll get you open. So the training's on yourself. I'm not going to train you to be stronger, a faster player. But what I will make you do is make sure wherever the fuck you are, you'll be open. So he trains more on like the types of techniques you're already doing to catch a ball. He's just making you repeat it. You get up off the ground, have to lunge this way, lunge that way, do a weird lunge to the bottom, wait for the ball. So it's all like hard training on route. Then he posts pictures of those fucking players running routes. So his list of guys is fucking Stephon Diggs. Show Stephon Diggs plays that he's taught him. The Cheetah, obviously. Fucking Tyreek Hill. Jarvis Landry. Like the guys that are really just good route runners. Like when you see them playing, they just know how to do a route.
Yeah.
And it's by him teaching them, and when he shows them actually on game days when they're playing, it's crazy to see what he's doing. And then the same thing they're training, and you're like, dude, how did this guy get so fucking open? Like the defensive guy's blown away. He's on one side of the field while the other guy is on one side of the field.
Damn.
It's crazy to see. All right, let's move on from these guys. The NFL, let's go back into, we touched on it a bit, Jam Morant and Andrew Wiggins. We actually brought both of them up.
That Andrew Wiggins rumor is bullshit, though. I don't know where Hassan is getting his news source from.
That's
just an FYI.
No, I know. It's a few other people have brought it up too. I just asked, like, hey, like, randomly we're talking about NBA, Golden State. I'm like, you heard about Andrew Wiggins? And people are like, yeah, this is what I heard. But
it's on the same thing, though.
It's 100% real. But the thing is, like, usually if a guy's gone this long, something comes out. Like, guy might be sick. He has a family member,
right?
Like a little bit of something, just tiny bit comes out.
But I don't think but that's also maybe just depending on the team and all the other stuff too, right? So
it is.
I don't want to
we don't want to obviously put more,
Yeah, I don't want to be like,
fire.
oh, it could be this or that. I don't think that's fair to him. Whatever. If we can talk about like his,
But him not being there, I think,
huge
has been huge right now.
He was their second.
Yep.
No, not second.
I'd say
third,
second or third for sure.
second or third best player last year.
Games.
Well, he was their best. If he was their best wing player last year in the entire from finish to start. Like Clay had a couple games where he went off. Jordan Poole had a couple games where he went off.
Both guys did.
But from start to finish, he was their and he was also the best wing defender,
Best
the rebounder,
man,
right?
That's huge.
Right?
Offensive
So-
rebounds, like that's not an easy task.
So it makes a huge difference because now you got to play Jordan Poole more, and Jordan Poole's a great player, but
is.
you can't have him and Curry on the court together sometimes because one of them is going to get picked on defensively. If you put in Wiggins, you got Wiggins, you've got Klay Thompson, you got Draymond, and then they can kind of go with Looney. They can go Moody. Sometimes you can bring in him.
Yeah.
You've got other wing players.
You can go small ball. You can change it up. Like,
Right,
there's
but
so
he's their huge like swing factor because he makes it easier for Clay and stuff too because Clay doesn't have to defend those guys.
And he's
right?
actually a body. Like he's a big guy that can kind of like bully people around a little bit. He's got experience under
you
his
can play
belt.
bigger with
He could definitely play big, way bigger than what the fuck he actually
I
is.
split a little bit here.
Fuck it. It's not good. But yeah, so Andrew Wiggins, that sucks that he's away right now because obviously Golden State is definitely missing
Well,
him.
there's still no.
And even with Curry, like think of when Curry was gone, injured.
Damn.
That's when Andrew Wiggins would have been like, they're probably like number one guy at that point, really. Like he would have been doing a little bit of both, offense, defense. Clay's kind of been himself, but sometimes he's not himself. And then Poole just sometimes he's good, but then he's so risky of a player because he takes risky ass shots. He wants to be Curry.
I was listening to the podcast. It was like Bill Simmons and Ryan Russell, and they were talking about Poole. They're basically they're saying is like when they have a huddle, right? The coach tells them what to do. They have them, and they're like Jordan Poole's probably thinking, what is the dumbest thing I can do out of this timeout? And he's like, and he does it.
Yeah.
Right? And he's a great player, but the thing with him is that it's hard for him. Like when Curry's had his most success, it's been Curry, wing defenders, and Draymond.
Yeah.
Like Klay Thompson, him, those guys, and two wing defenders that can cover for Curry and play defense because they don't need the ball.
They don't.
Like if you got Draymond in there and you've got Steph Curry, Clay's gonna. All these guys are gonna have to just play defense and shoot a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see like what happens with Wiggins. I hope he's back.
Yeah.
Then if he's back, he's missed like 20, 30. He's been out for like a couple
It's been a
months,
long
right?
fucking time since you've been out.
So what playing condition is he going to be in? I mean, Golden State goes on a 2-game losing streak, and all of a sudden they can go from 6th to 10th, right?
Crazy.
So that's how that like,
Literally.
even like teams about like that, like Clippers and Phoenix, they've got a little bit. They're already set only 8 games left, but
And they're at 38 only themselves, Phoenix.
36.
Even though LA has the Clippers have the 39.
but they have 74 games played. These guys are 73, right? So even if they win, they are only a couple of games back, and then Phoenix, Clippers have lost Paul George now too.
Yep.
Right. So, and then Memphis, like with John Morant coming back now, we can talk about that. They've got the pieces.
Yep.
But I don't know if they have. I think the biggest factor for them is they got to win road games because look at their road record. It's terrible.
Which one, Memphis?
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Yeah. And I mean, it's not Golden State bad. It's still bad though.
Yeah, well,
right?
I didn't even notice theirs right now.
They're
in double digits. In
look
wins.
at their
That's
home
crazy.
and road.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I mean, look at Sacramento. They have a good away record, which
they
is
do,
fucked up too, right?
It's exact same almost. They're
which is
identical.
crazy.
Yeah, both
Everyone
sides.
else is below. Everyone's always better at home than they are at road.
Yeah.
These guys are the one team that's better on the fucking road than they are at home, and they have no playoff experience. I'm hoping, me personally, as I want to see Golden State and Memphis in the first round, and I want to see Phoenix and the Clippers play each other in the first round.
Yeah.
Those two matter because the Clippers versus Phoenix would be one of the like 2 starting lineups and an iffy bench against each other, and who knows what's going to happen with Paul George if he's even going to be back.
Yeah.
They said he's going to be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Not that he's going to be back in 2 to 3 weeks. He's going to be reevaluated.
Yeah.
Like
that
LeBron,
never means you're coming back.
LeBron was reevaluated.
Yeah.
And he's now expected to be back because 8 games. He's going to miss at least another week anyways.
Yeah. I wonder what he. He did that same therapy, I think, as Kobe did. Remember when Kobe took off to Germany?
Oh, but for his
knee.
left. But LeBron hurt his foot.
He did it lower. So his is like from here to here, the shots or something, and Kobe's was like from like here to here.
We'll see what version of LeBron comes back. Because remember, this happened to him a few years ago when he had the high ankle sprain, and then the guy landed on his foot and he came back and then lost Phoenix in the first round. Yeah. Davis got hurt. So we'll see which version. Like LeBron's 38, right? Like he's been injured for the last 1, 2, I think. Only reason he didn't get hurt in the bubble was because he had 5 months off before the bubble again, right?
He got injured for his first year LA. He got injured at the end of the season, so they didn't even make playoffs.
Like January, February, and then he missed all of it. Yeah. That was his first big injury. Then they won next year.
Yeah.
And then third year, they got injured when he got hurt in the first round.
Yeah.
Then last year...
Him and Anthony Davis were just like injury plagued.
And then this year was another year,
almost
same
the
thing,
shit.
right?
It's been like the carbon copy of last year basically coming into this year. Similar kind of fighting around now to just get into the playoffs.
So we'll see, man. I mean, Memphis has like... We'll see who Memphis ends up playing too, right? So
yeah, it's going to be
Memphis
crazy
versus a team like Lakers would be interesting. Golden State, Minnesota. Minnesota's hanging around. They got Cat back, but they lost Edwards.
Yeah,
right. That kind of sucks for them too because they haven't had like
both of
that
them.
Gobert trade. It's probably so bad for them.
So bad.
Kessler's outplaying. If they had just didn't make the trade, they would have probably kept. They would have been able to have Walker Kessler. He's got more blocks than Rudy in less minutes played. So could you imagine, like, Minnesota would have Cat and Kessler, right? And then they could pull whatever. And then you'd have, I think where they fucked up was they should have tried to go after another, like a Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Or if they gave all those same picks, they could have given up for Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. Or I don't even know what wing defender would have been.
Probably him. That would
like a wing because Anthony Edwards, he's a wing too. So maybe another. I guess because Mitchell can be a point guard.
It's almost point guard is what they would have needed. That's about it.
But I think another wing defender because I think the last 20-something champions they've had one guy. Every team who's won a championship in the last 20-something years has had one guy who's 6'7" or taller, who's averaged more than 17 or 20 points a game. Every single team has had one guy who does that. Like you had the Clay, obviously LeBron. Yeah. You got your AD in there at some point. Even before that, I think the Spurs had Kawhi who was doing that. So every team needs one wing guy who's at least 6'7" that can score, play defense, and do that. Does Denver have that? They got Michael Porter Jr. Sure. Memphis has that? No, they don't.
Oh, no, they don't.
Dillon Brooks isn't like a 6'7" guy, though, right? No. So that's the thing with Memphis is that they got Jaren Jackson, they got Morant, but they don't have that one wing guy that they can just... That's why I was kind of thinking if Memphis would have been Durant would have been a great fit in Memphis because you got that missing piece. Yeah. Because who knows what Dillon Brooks is going to do. Dillon Brooks thinks he's like a all-NBA guy. Yeah. Right? And he's barely, he's a good player. I'll give him that. But whatever happened to him these days, he just thinks he's the best player, and he's not. But Memphis is a damn good team.
They are.
But they've lost some players. Yeah. They don't have that wing guy. They almost, to be honest, they give me the Toronto Raptors vibes when they had DeRozan and Lowry. Yeah. I think they're great in the regular season. We'll see what happens in the playoffs when they've got to play in the half court and when they don't have the guy. Because on top of that, fine, you got Dillon. Who's going to defend the wing guys on the other teams too? Yeah. Right? You lost Brandon Clark. Jaren Jackson is huge. He can do that. But the thing with him is he gets a lot of fouls. He does. And if he gets in trouble, who can defend the other guys? If they play, say, Phoenix, right? Who's gonna? I guess you're gonna put Brooks on Durant. Yeah. But do you have any confidence that Brooks is going to be able to shut down? He's just so small. He's 6'5".
He's not going to be able to shut him down for sure.
Right? So same thing comes up against the Clippers. Who do you have that's going to defend? That's why I like Golden State. They don't, you could probably play Clay, but without Wiggins, they don't have that other X factor. Yeah. Right? Minnesota doesn't really have one wing guy that can, Anthony Edwards can be a guy, but they need, I think, another guy on top of that, even with Cat. Lakers obviously got that dude. Dallas has that dude. New Orleans has that dude. Oklahoma City doesn't. Actually, you know what? Jalen Williams has been ripping it up this year, but he's not at the point where
No.
I think and obviously they got Shea, sorry.
That guy's a shit.
Utah doesn't have one of those guys either, even though they have a really good team.
Yeah,
with
they just got
right?
a bunch of average guys that are playing decent right now.
And a really good coach.
Yeah, really good coach. All right.
Nice.
Beating the shit out of him right now.
They are. But he fouled them with no time left.
And Toronto needs all these wins they can get right now, man.
100%.
Especially looking at that 35, 36, so they could jump. I wonder if they actually beat Atlanta ever.
What's that?
Year. I wonder if they get to jump into
Let's check the Raptors. They got tough games though, man. They play I think they play Milwaukee and the Celtics twice. One of those teams. They still have a game against Philly, I think. It's a brutal schedule day in the season.
They're playing Detroit, Washington, not bad. Miami, not bad.
Dude, no, Miami's ripped it up though. Miami's in the 5th seed now. Yeah. And then look what they play after.
Philly, goddamn.
Then they play Charlotte. And then look at the last 3 games.
Against Boston?
And then they play Milwaukee.
Finish off
but
Milwaukee.
The thing is though, depending on what happens with the regular season, those last 3 games, Boston, and Milwaukee, I could see Milwaukee honestly resting guys, first of all, unless that game means something, they're probably going to rest them.
Even Boston, if they're playing 2 games, they're not back.
They play the back-to-back with Charlotte and Boston, right? So, but they have to beat, so how many they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. And they've got, let's say they beat Detroit. They got 8 games left. They should be able to beat Washington. That gets them 2 wins. They should be able to beat Charlotte twice. Yeah. That gets them to 4 wins, right? They got 8 games left. They need to win 1 more against Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, and Miami.
Hopefully Milwaukee sits guys. And then in Boston, what could happen is, because this is a back-to-back, if they rested their guys here, I think Boston could rest their dudes on.
Well, it depends on what's happening with maybe by then the Raptors might even have they win 4 or 5 in a row.
True.
Right? Because if the big one's going to be against Miami, man.
Yeah, Miami and Philly are going to be big games.
Those are back-to-back. At least they're rested.
Because those are going to be playoff games, basically. Even though.
And for Philly's competing for home, because they're most likely going to be playing Celtics in the second round.
Yeah.
But let's just say, the Celtics and Philly should win. They're going to be playing each other. And look at what happened last year with the Celtics and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
The home team got game 7 at home, and that's when they didn't have Middleton and shit, but they still got the game 7 at home.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Home court, home fucking fans.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens with these guys, man. I'm excited.
All right, let's go into one of our sports that we actually play here. Golf. So Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, I don't think there's too many updates right now just because he's just trying to freaking play as much as he can. So there's really not much to talk about him right now, I guess, because
even Rory, Rory's been pretty quiet, but he actually came out did you hear what he said the other day? He's in favor of them reducing the length, how far the ball goes, and them putting a max in distances.
Yeah,
and he's one of the
leaders. It's crazy how many guys are actually in favor, which I never would have believed.
I guess that the whole thing is it's kind of like NBA with the 3-point shooting because the long bomb is more popular. The mid range, or in golf, the mid range is gone, right? Yeah. If you have a 500-yard hole. Before, you would have max guys hitting max 300. Yeah. So a 300, now you have a second shot that's 200. That's still a decent. Now you have guys bombing at 320, 330. The next shot's 100. That a 30-yard difference is huge when it comes to it.
Very big.
Right? Or even on drives that are 400-something yards, these guys pounding at 320, 330, right?
It. So right now, Rory's playing. So they're playing the WGC Tiger Woods tournament, basically. He runs this one, the matchup. So you have to play against each other. Okay. So you get pinned, pinned with somebody randomly.
Is it like a tournament style?
Yeah, it's a tournament style.
You advance,
you have the team advancing. You have to win the first 3. Whichever has the best record, you get to advance.
So you play 3 holes against?
No, so you have to play a full 18, and you'll play against one guy.
So Thursday you play 18, then everyone who advances plays on Friday.
You'll play against a different guy. And then Saturday you have had to have advanced from those 2 games by your record.
Right.
Then on the third day, it's now it's going to be people getting cut off and stuff. So Rory's, played the first day, and he freaking drives the green on a par 4 on one of them.
Damn.
And it's the last hole. So, like, he gets an eagle on that one and then just wins that one against the guy.
Oh, that was his. Oh, that's what I saw something about that.
And he crutches it. And then today he's playing again and he's like freaking hitting on that hole. He screwed up though because he got it on the green and won. Putted. It kind of went to a weird little spot. Maybe like a 5-footer, 4-footer.
Missed it.
Guy missed that too for his birdie. And then Keegan Bradley comes in and just like tucks his birdie in. So he won only that one. But in the end, he wins again, Rory.
Oh.
So he's on fire right now. Like, he's ripping it up, his driving. But the crazy thing is, Keegan Bradley hit it. And they show, like, one of the holes, like, 315 gets you to this one bunker area. Water to your entire left. Right's pretty open, but there's a big bunker. Keegan Bradley hits it. His carry is, like, 305, 310. Then it's going to bounce some, too. They're like, oh, you know what? Rory's going to maybe hit it, like, another 15, 20 yards. This guy hits it. He hits like 348 yards on a carry.
Damn.
Then it hits the ground, and then it bounces.
Wait, 350 without it hitting the fucking
348, or 338 carry, and then it hit the ground, and then it still bounced another 15 yards probably. So he's looking at all these tiny little wedge shots and pitching wedges and 9-irons into all the greens. So it makes the round so much easier because you have clubs that you can work the ball then. And this course has a lot of greens where you actually want to make it past the hole and get a little bit of spin because you can spin it back. Everything kind of goes to the hole.
Damn.
So it shows like where his game is. Like he's playing at a number one level right now. It's just guys are just winning the right tournaments. Like Scotty Scheffler just comes in. And what happened is TaylorMade's been making that new Stealth driver that they came out with. Then they made a Stealth Plus 2 to kind of make it a little bit better. It can actually go a little bit further. Rory had it. Like a bunch of these top guys had it in their bags. Dustin Johnson. Everybody put it away. They're like, this driver sucks. It's not doing what we need it to do. It's kind of not the way. We're going to go to this other TaylorMade driver. Scotty Scheffler comes in the last tournament for the Masters. Or what is it called? The major they had?
Yeah.
And just destroys everybody. Creeps in on Saturday, comes in on Sunday, wins it. He's got the TaylorMade Stealth Plus.
Damn.
To show that, like, I'm still here for you, TaylorMade. I didn't go out there and switch my drivers to make you guys look shitty. I still use my fucking TaylorMade Stealth and got the dub. And brought that club back in now. It's because that club was actually selling in this $1,500 package. So you get the club. Yeah. You get a boombox little portable speaker. You get a laser yardage reader with it. Like it comes in this fucking sick box. And people were starting to get it thinking, and it comes customized to whatever you want. Like all the things are customized on it. The head, weight, the shaft, whatever you want. And then people are buying this. And I was like watching all these people buy it. People on Marketplace still selling it right now. I'm like, yo, this is nuts. Should I get this? Then all these guys started putting it away out of their bags. I'm like, yo, it can't be that good. Then Scotty Scheffler comes in, wins a major with it. And he's like basically like, yo, suck it. Like this thing still fucking does the job. If you guys are complaining on this, you guys need to work on something else.
Fair, that's fair. That's fair.
Because he's not, Scotty Scheffler is not, and he was 3-0 actually on his wins for right now too. He's 3-0, so he's already made it into like the next bracket.
Yeah.
And then Rory had to go 3-0 himself to make it into it. But some guys, were 2-1, still made it. So it's showing that sometimes like you might think it's not your club or it is your club you're thinking, and then somebody else comes along, they prove that fucking completely wrong. They're like, no, it's not the club, bro. You got to go out there, go train your short game, go train. Like, look at how much we use our 6-iron now.
Yeah.
You barely used to use it in those kind of shots. I only started using it because I saw some players use it, and then I was like to other people, like, yo, use it in this spot. This is actually a good spot. It's a low shot. If we end up hitting this fucking tree again, it's going to be in the same spot. Maybe it goes a little bit further. Worst case, it might even come back again.
A foot, 2 feet off the ground and just
punch
slide
that.
Or pinch that.
Like I made my 6-iron, punched it low, travel 150 yards. If it can go 150 running, that's more than you need usually on a low shot. Like if you really needed, that could just be a layup on some hole. Like if you did need more, like it's 200, you still got it 150 out, 160 out. All right, and lastly, we'll finish off with freaking the last UFC, man.
I didn't end up watching much of it or any of it.
So it was like basically what happened last fight. Edward came in, wins the first round, kind of wins the second round, maybe 2. I think judges gave him the second round too. Third, fourth, and fifth, it looked like Usman was running it. Mm-hmm. It just like there was all this like random shit where they were punching the fuck out of each other. Like at one point, the punches that each guy got in each other, probably 2 punches each, could have been knockout punches. Somehow they survived them, kept going. But again, like to be a champion,
you gotta beat the
fuck out of the champion. I think Usman just sat. I think even the shots he gave him, I think he should have knocked out Edwards. And he did get some takedowns that I think that they should have gave him a little bit more points. And Edwards lost a point because he held on to the cage on a takedown. So that only lost him a point. But the way that Usman was about to throw him down, he was gonna fuck his ass up after.
Okay.
So I think it kind of gave Edwards. It worked way more for Edwards to take that point. I think he played it smart by not going to the ground at that point because he was tired as fuck that round. So he didn't get the point. They had to do the stoppage for that time. Now he got a little bit of breathing room. He's rested up a bit. So right when they started again, he's kind of a little bit more refreshed and he's breathing better. So now what he wants to do is fight Masvidal. He thinks that's going to be a good pay-per-view one because Masvidal's still been fighting.
Yep.
He's going to have a big fight now, and if he wins that, I think he would deserve it. Dana White wants Covington.
Of course Dana wants Covington.
Who hasn't fucking fought for 2 years.
And then he goes, yeah, wonder why.
Yeah, and Edwards' reply is that, why are you giving
why do you
light on a guy that hasn't fought for 2 years, hasn't been active, compared to a guy? He's like, dude, Masvidal actually makes me nervous.
Dana just loves the fucking controversy. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad.
Yeah,
they don't deserve it. But he's like, you know what? These guys are gonna get us ratings. But it's not fair though. It's not fair to the other guys.
Beating your own wife. It doesn't matter what it is these days for this guy. He wants controversy.
He does because he thinks it's controversy. I think it was the old Vince Russo back in the WCW days. He's like, controversy creates cash.
It does.
Right?
It definitely, and that time, wrestling, that was a cash cow.
That was
the best chaotic
But UFC took the playbook of boxing with fighting. Oh, damn, Trish Stratus right there.
Yeah. Where?
And the talent, one of the judges.
Really?
Yeah, it looked like it. Oh, it looked like it.
Probably. It's Canada.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. So, but anyways, they had, they took the playbook of what wrestling used to do with some boxing and fighting, and they combined it and called it UFC, right? Yeah. So obviously, Covington's gonna talk so much shit.
So much.
He's gonna probably wear his Trump hat or whatever politician he's following these days. Probably gonna be a red hat though.
No.
And then he hasn't done. I could understand if he's done something the last 2 years.
Yep.
Makes sense to give him a shot. But then who other than Usman, who else actually truly deserves it though?
Even to Chimaev. He was talking shit to him.
Covington was?
Covington. And then what he said to him, fuck man, where did it go?
Was it something about
that he could fight him and beat him up one-on-one, that he'd be willing to take a fight? And then all Khamzat said was, how's he going to use his cardio? How's he going to take me down? How's he going to hurt me? He's too little a boy. Because he's weight-wise, this guy will bulk the fuck up and then cut down on fight day and then bulk back up and fight Covington.
Who was Covington's last fight?
I can't even remember. It's been so fucking long.
What has he been doing?
I know he fought Connor at one point, Masvidal, and then Usman. I think it was him and Usman, where it was almost an evenly matched fight, but I think this guy took a lot of damage.
He took a lot of damage. His face was so fucked up after, man. He needed those shades that he's wearing.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, if you're going to give Covington a shot, you need to give him another fight to prove that he can still fight. At least let him, give him the chance to be all right, I guess we can. If Covington won, right? And then be you know what? Fine. Give it to him. Give it, you know what? He doesn't deserve it.
No.
But he deserves it just because he's got the one fight that he won. Yeah. And now he hasn't done shit in 2 years, and there's more worthy contenders. I don't know all their names.
So it should be, right now, basically, it should be Usman should fight Covington. It should be a rematch of them right now.
Yep.
Edwards and Masvidal. And now Gaethje won his fight, and he already claimed it that he's I'm doing one last run at the title, and I'm going to retire after that. He's I don't have it in me.
Gaethje and Edwards and all them in the same
weight class? So he Gaethje had to fight the guy, who did he fight recently, man? They went toe-to-toe, face-to-face. Somehow Gaethje came out of it pretty unscathed. Usually he comes out bloody as fuck. The other guy's face, disgusting it looked. It was just a mess. So he just wants to make one more run at it, and he's going to have to fight somebody deadly. Whoever is going to be holding the title is going to... I don't see Gaethje being able to get up there.
It's crazy. This guy's 24-4.
Who?
Gaethje.
Yeah, man, he fought a lot.
He fought Rafael Farias. Oh, it was Chandler. Was it a Chandler fight?
Yeah,
it was Chandler fight.
A crazy fight.
And no, they also was Gaethje and Oliveira too, but Oliveira won that one.
No, this one was Gaethje and a different guy, man. He had a crazy haircut. He looked like a Viking.
So the last
He's
fight,
like a European last name.
These are the last few fights that he's fought. He fought Rafael Fiziev.
I think that was it.
That was the same one as the Usman Edwards card, right?
One, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fiziev, that crazy guy. He took a lot of damage, but he still went to the judges. But you could tell that he.
We'll see what happens, man. Because 150 Usman isn't. They're not 155.
He fought at 155.
Dude, his weight is 155. Where does it say, like...
I think that's where Usman got jumping, because next is, what's their name? Iggy guys.
Yeah, because what's his face? Like, Rafael Dos Anjos. Damn. I don't know, because he's 155, but Usman and them are more than that, aren't they?
Wait, I'll check right now. Oh no, he's in lightweight. He's in Makhachev's.
Because
he's in Makhachev's. The other one is welterweight. So he does. I don't think he's gonna want to fight in welterweight anymore. Because he's already lost to like a bunch of these guys. 3 of his losses before that. Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy little. It's gonna be hard to beat that Makhachev. These guys that are coming from look at the male pound for pound right now. Just because John Jones has been gone for so long, he's sitting freaking at 3rd right now, even though he's like, everybody knows he's the number 1.
Yeah, fuck. This is the pound for pound ones, right?
Pound for pound right now, who's on this list?
Usman's 5, eh? Damn.
Yeah,
What does Adesanya do now? When's his next fight?
So he got knocked out too.
Yeah, but who was he? Who did he? But he went up a weight class, didn't he?
That was before. So he fought who was it? Blachacek, and then he lost to him in the light heavyweight.
Right, and then he went back.
But in middleweight, Pereira's the champion that just beat him to knocked him out.
Okay.
Remember that big guy, the Brazilian? And he's only 7-1, man. His record's like he's got still a lot of fights in him.
He does. We'll see who. Adesanya's still young though, man.
He is young.
Adesanya's I think in his 20s still.
He's young. He's just been in a lot of goddamn fights, and that last one was brutal. Fucking fighting Pereira. I think he's gonna wanna. I don't know. Fuck, man, that rematch. They're actually gonna be fighting soon. Wait,
who?
Adesanya. Adesanya is gonna be fighting
sometime in the May, June.
Let's see. Yeah, he's fighting April 8th.
Oh shit, that's the next one. That's the second fight, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Pereira versus Adesanya. That'll be when is that? 8th?
Yeah, April 8th.
Oh shit, that's a Saturday, right?
Should be a Saturday.
Fuck,
that'll probably be in
Vegas for that.
That should be. No,
I'll be in Vegas for that too, eh?
I think that'll be a Vegas fight. Just
damn.
I doubt they do anywhere unless they go to Brazil because it's Pereira is the champion. But fuck, they haven't done much in Brazil.
It depends on the card and who's the main fight and stuff like that. We'll see.
All right, well, we can end off on that at least. And
is there...
Let's blaze.
Let's go. Oh, space, that's fine. Question is, where is the actual fight, though? That's what I want to find out.
I don't know where that one is.
It's from Miami.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they're doing Miami-Dade. Miami-Dade Arena, that's what it's called.
None of those two are even from there, but... Who else is fighting that one, actually, then? Somebody's going to be from Miami out there. The co-main? Who's Cole?
Burns and Masvidal.
Oh, Masvidal's Miami boy.
Dude, I'm looking at the Brazilian.
Because that's what, remember Masvidal used to do those fights with, who's that big black guy that died?
Kimbo
Slice. They're all from that Jacksonville kind of area, all somewhere in Florida.
Dude, it's a pretty decent card, though. Look at it. You got the main event is obviously Adesanya and Pereira. You got Gilbert Burns against Jorge Masvidal. You got Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez.
Yeah, these are all upcomers, man.
I know Kevin Holland's a beast too versus Santiago. And then this one should be a good fight. Up-and-comer guys. Prelims seem okay too, but the main event is actually going to be pretty solid.
Yeah, that's going to be fucking huge.